Hi there everyone, thanks for coming by to listen to some information about modern cloth nappies. I'm going to try and make it all a little bit less confusing. If any of you have started trying to do some research on the internet or even here, you might have found that it's all a little bit overwhelming and there's a lot of information to try and take in. First off, I've actually got something to give away. This is one of our bamboo velour change mats, and the first person who can tell me how many disposable nappies in Australia go to landfill every single year will win this change mat.
10 million.
More than 10 million. More than 20 million. More than 50 million. More than 75. Nearly close at a billion.
2 billion.
More than a billion. Who said it first? There you go. So every year in Australia alone, more than a billion nappies are going to landfill, and they take up to 500 years to decompose or something ludicrous like that. It's a hell of a lot of waste. Anyway, there are much better options, and they're a lot easier to use now than they were before. I'm going to run through a few different of the more popular options at the moment and explain some of their features and things that make them good or some of their characteristics, and then I'll ask you to get me to ask me some questions with whatever you're wondering or interested in. So in modern cloth nappies, you can have sized nappies or you can have one size nappies where you have one nappy that goes from newborn all the way through to potty training. A few of the examples I have here, this one here is a pocket nappy. So it's waterproof on the outside. This is a laminated minky. Inside it has a stay dry layer suede cloth. So suede cloth keeps the baby feeling dry and it washes up super well without needing harsh chemicals. A pocket nappy has the absorbency stuffed into literally a little pocket at the back of the nappy. So this nappy uses largely bamboo for its absorbency, bamboo and organic cotton, I believe. Using fabrics such as bamboo and microfiber, these modern fabrics mean that the nappy is more comfortable for the baby because you can have a lot less fabric and still a super reliable nappy. The nappies are much trimmer and more comfortable for the babies. So the bamboo and microfiber fabrics absorb much, much more liquid than cotton does. This one here is a two-part system again. This one here is another birth to potty style of nappy. Again, it has a minky outer, laminated. This one has the absorbency, again bamboo. It comes apart into two different sections. So you pull it apart when you're going to wash it, and then once they're dry, snap them back together. This particular two-part system has the option of the reusable insert, or if you're away on holidays or everybody's sick or something, there is a disposable insert that you can pop in instead. Another popular option these days, which I'm biased but is my personal favourite, are the all-in-ones. So they're again waterproof on the outside with a laminated fabric. They open up and have the stay dry layer in it again, but the absorbency is sewn into the nappy so that you don't have to puzzle it all back together again. Some of the nappies these days will have things like wriggle guards down the sides, so they give you a double layer of protection to keep all the stuff on the inside of the nappy that you want. Different styles of nappies will give you different options. For example, being able to customize them for boys or tummy sleepers who might need more towards the front, or having natural fibers on top, or stay dry layers on top. There are some other accessories that are really handy to have with cloth nappies. So this one here is a wet bag. It zips closed to keep all the smells in. So when you're out and about, if you have a dirty nappy, you can pop your dirty nappy in here, zip it up, and then just take it home to sort out when you get home. So this one snaps onto pram handles or handbags or anything like that. There are training pants, reusable pull-up style training pants. When you're trying to get your baby out of nappies, you can use these. And there are also things like swim nappies, so you don't have to throw away your little swimmers or whatever they're called each time. Just reuse these each time, and it snaps open on the side in case you have a little mess inside to deal with. Every single type of nappy can be boosted as well. So this is an example of a booster. It's an extra bit of absorbency that you can pop inside the nappy if you need more absorbency for lasting all night long or for long car trips, or you just happen to have a heavy wetter, those sorts of things. Essentially, that's a quick run through of the different types of nappies and some of the pros and cons. Do you have any questions, anything in particular that you're wondering about? What does PUL stand for? It's called polyurethane laminate. So my understanding, it's the most breathable waterproofing that you can get these days, much better than the old PVC and things like that. So it's on the inside of the fabric so it doesn't ever touch their skin, and just keeps the nappies waterproof.
And is it worth getting sized rather than multi-fit?
Is it worth getting sized rather than multi-fit? That's a really interesting question. It really depends on what you want. So the multi-fit ones will save you more money because the one nappy goes from day dot all the way through to potty training. They cost you a bit more up front in the beginning, but if you compare using something like this or this with something like that, this is just simpler to use. But you would need to keep on upsizing each time, so it would cost you more in the long run. You would still save money compared to using disposables, lots, but yeah, there. A demonstration how to change the sizing, sure. So different nappies will have different styles on how you change it from, say, newborn up to potty training. So this one, for example, you snap down the front using these snaps like so. So it makes the height of the nappy smaller for when the baby is teeny tiny. This nappy here is slightly different. For most of the time, you simply do it up to wherever it naturally fits. Or for the teeny tiny stage, in the newborn stage, you use the inside row of snaps. So the nappy can go down to truly fit teeny tiny newborns. We use that row of snaps. I'll do it up here so you can see. This row of snaps for the top row to do it up, and like so. This, then just bring it across and as normal do it up to wherever it naturally fits. And you can use the crossover tabs to make it teeny tiny for very little newborns. So one size nappies are slightly bulkier on newborn babies, but you can see that that does go down to be pretty small. And newborns, they grow so quickly that they're off out of the newborn stage faster than you can blink, almost. Sorry? Washing care for them. So with whichever nappy style that you choose, make sure you read their care instructions for that particular nappy. But generally speaking, solids go into the loo. You can use flushable liners to help you with that. So this is an example. They're just like a tissue paper type material. Dip that into the loo, get rid of the solids. Ideal if you can then give the nappy a quick rinse before you just pop it into a dry bucket with a lid on the top, and then straight into the washing machine. You can do a pre-rinse of the nappies by themselves, and then depending on how you feel about it, it is possible to add in any other washing that you've got, hang them on the line, and you're done, ready to go again. Normal detergent is fine. Again, read the instructions, but essentially no fabric softeners, as fabric softeners will put a residue on the fabric and repel liquid, which is not good for a nappy. If you have a front loader, should you soak them? No, it's not necessary to soak them. If you want to soak them in a bit of water to dilute it a little bit, that's fine, but it's not necessary to soak them, no.
And I want to use like creams on my baby's bottom in case of rash. Is it best, what's good to use? Use coconut oil, people say?
So creams on the baby's bottom, what's better to use for with you've got cloth nappies? Often when you're using cloth nappies, you don't actually need a lot of creams. Nappy rash from experience is far more prevalent in babies that have got disposable nappies on, because there's the chemicals and they're sometimes left in them a lot longer and things like that. Often you won't need anything at all for cloth nappies. A little bit of cornstarch powder is good. I have heard of coconut oil, did you say? I have heard of that as well, but I haven't tried it myself. Yeah. If you're ever worried about something that you're using on a cloth nappy, if you pop a flushable liner in, that will reduce anything that's going to touch the fabric. And you can do things like a strip wash if you do get something on there. What does a strip wash mean? So a strip wash is breaking down any residues that have built up on the fabric. So say for example you use fabric softener and you've got a residue on there and nappies are repelling, they're not holding everything in anymore. A strip wash is when you use a bit of liquid washing up detergent to break down any of those things that are built up and makes the nappy all super absorbent again for you. So do a normal wash, pop a bit of liquid detergent in after. Make sure, you might need to do 2 rinses, you don't want any bubbles left over essentially, and then you just hang it out and they look like brand new again.
So how is that different from how you normally?
So washing, I mean like dishwashing liquid instead of washing up powder. Yeah? Any other questions? Anyone wondering about anything else? Yeah? How many outside nappies would you need compared to the inside boosters? It really depends on what your system is and how you're using it. So it depends also on how often you can just use the inside and not the outside. My personal experience was often when they're tiny, you end up washing the whole thing anyway. And so therefore you need almost the same amount. The outside will dry faster than the inside. So you won't need quite as many necessarily if you don't mind doing all the snapping and putting them all back together. I would have to say best to go and ask one of the companies that sell the all-in-twos, as I'm biased towards the all-in-ones personally. Any other questions? Where am I staying? Okay, I'm just over behind here. I'm at stand number I-21. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to come and ask about any cloth nappies, not just mine. I've worked in childcare and as a nanny, and I have my own kids, so I've changed literally thousands, if tens of thousands of nappies. Thank you very much, everyone.